What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another Football Friday here on 305 Takes. And it's a Football Friday leading us into the big game on Sunday with the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles. It's all we have to really talk about as we're down to the last two teams, and we're going to have a champion to talk about on Monday. And I'm excited for the game. It does get a little bit annoying that we do have, last week where there was just absolutely nothing. And I mean, I guess they tried to make the Pro Bowl more entertaining, but now
Yeah,
I'm back. Now I'm glad to have real actual football back for this week and a game with the highest stakes attached to it. Angel, what are you looking forward to the most on this episode?
uh, I'm looking forward to our predictions, honestly. I mean, we've talked about it a long time this whole season, and what's also good is that for everyone who doesn't know, we're gonna have a guest. We're gonna have Alejandro Gutierrez. He's been on the show before, real good friend, close friend of the show. If anyone does remember, he was I think our first guest or our second guest, but he's back. He's gonna be talking football with us, and he's got a lot of knowledge, and I know he's ready to talk about it because like Miles, he's a huge Dolphins fan. And for a fun fact for everyone, Alejandro is a season ticket holder for the Finns. So he was actually able to see uh Tyreek Hill, the trade for the Kansas City Chiefs that kind of helped propel them to the Super Bowl in their roster now. We're at live with Tyreek Hill every Sunday. So yeah, we're excited. We're gonna have Alejandro on right in a couple of seconds, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing what our mindsets are going into the Super Bowl because injury reports come out. There's always status going on, and yeah. All right, now we are officially back. We're with a good friend of the show, Alejandro Gutierrez. Alejandro, thank you so much for being on this episode, bro.
I appreciate you guys. It's a big game. Thank you for hitting me up. Last time I was on the podcast, it was super, super cool. Always nice to talk about sports with you guys. You guys are super cool too. And, I'm ready for this weekend, man. I'm ready for these
Yeah,
questions.
let's get after it.
All right, so we'll talk about some prop bets. First, Miles, you got any prop bets you want to hit us up?
So the first one that I'm looking at because well, this one is kind of like a greedy one because I don't want to see the player involved with this. So I'm going under 7.5 punts in the game, because I expect both teams' offense to be able to move the ball on each other. And I honestly just don't want to see the punters involved in the game. So I'm going under 7.5 punts in the game combined.
That I think that's pretty accurate. I don't see the punters coming out too often because both of these teams they're some of the best offenses in the league. And it's a Super Bowl. So I think offense is definitely going to dominate the defense. And worst case, you have two good kickers. So I honestly think I'll take the under for that for sure.
Yeah, I have to take the under, but also, I mean, Miles, we talked about it kind of off air. You want like a Pac-12 matchup. You just were like, bro, zero punts, all offense. Like both teams have like 500 yards of offense, like put up 50 points each. I mean, that would be a heck of a Super Bowl, though.
I don't even need them to put 50 points up each. I do honestly just see them being able to move the ball, and whether I just don't think on fourth down they're going to be really tempted to punt, because I think both coaches are going to be mindful of the other's offenses. And I think we'll see, if it comes down to it on fourth down and it's at least manageable, we'll see some fourth down decisions to make, and probably staying with the offense on the field instead of bringing the punting unit out, or maybe longer field goals.
Longer field goals. I could see that with
Because it's
Bucker
in,
and
yeah,
Elliott.
and it's indoors too. So that's the other thing. It's not like the weather conditions are going to be playing a factor in it too, with it being that in Arizona.
Yeah, I think these are well, at least the Eagles have a really good rushing team too. So, look for
Mm.
them to take a lot of time out of the clock. And, and when it comes to those fourth and short situations, you don't want to live with the regret of not going for it on fourth and one, fourth and two. We've seen the Eagles, they go for it a lot. And I think that they both have two good quarterbacks at the helm that they could trust enough to take that risk, and live with what happens and, with no regrets. And, that's going to take at least two, three punts out of the game for its entirety, which is going to be a lot more entertaining.
That's a good bet. I got one for both of you. AJ Brown, 78.5 yards. I personally, I want to take the under just for the simple fact I think Dallas Goedert is going to have the bigger game. Just because the Chiefs linebackers, they're not great. And I feel like Jalen Hurts will at least attack the middle of the field more than the outside. That's just my personal thinking going into it.
No, I like
Yeah,
that one, and especially the under. I like it as a zag because I think, especially because it's the Super Bowl and sports books and people are offering lines, know people are going to want to throw money on the Super Bowl and have action everywhere. That because of that, I think the lines are maybe a yard, maybe 2 yards boosted from where they really should be, just because they know that people are going to be interested in putting money on it. So they're like, all right, they're not going to know the difference between 78.5 yards and 75.5 yards. The only thing that would scare me with the AJ Brown, because I do like the logic with Goddard, and I think if they're going to go like possession game, short game, they have Devonta Smith there. The only thing that would scare me about AJ Brown is if they do go short game and possession with Devonta and Dallas Goddard, is if he gets a 45-yard reception, and now we're almost half of the way. We're half of the way there, basically, off of one reception. So, because I definitely think he'll get what, like between 4 and 5 catches. Just depends if he turns that into 68 yards or if we're looking at 79. But I do like that because I don't think it's a game where he's necessarily going to be the focal point of the passing attack.
I think it's gonna be a Smitty game, man. Smitty gonna go off over 100 yards. I personally feel like it. And in a game like that, I guess you don't want to play conservative, but you also want to stick to the basics and stick to what's been working. So like I said, the run game, one thing that has been working for them the entire year. They have great running backs. Jalen Hurts can run it whenever, and I think that Smitty has the potential on those screens to get those 5, 6 to like 15 yards, get those extra yardage that it's just going to produce more first downs. I like AJ Brown, great player, and I think you're right. He could pop off for like a 45, 50 yard catch and be close to the props. But I mean, I see it more being a Smitty game, this one, so I'll take the under.
I mean, that's the only thing. It's just, man, when they say yards, it's like, because like both of you said it. I mean, AJ's been known this year to get like 5 catches. So some games he'll have like 5 catches, 100 yards, but one of those catches was like 40 yards, and everyone was 20, and the rest of them are like 4 yards he got. So yeah, I still got to take the under on that one. But I mean, that's the thing about the Super Bowl. There's so many prop bets, and you're like, bro, this one is easy money. I mean,
That's
Miles,
what it's what we always think. You're like, how could
always
this
think
not hit? How could this
it's
not
like
hit?
it's like, bro, I'm robbing money from Vegas. Like, this is easy. And
Yeah,
next thing you know, we're just like, bro, how are we
yeah.
so stupid?
It was a
Until
little
it doesn't
too,
hit.
yeah, it's a little
No,
too.
I think it's when you start adding up. Oh yeah, he's gonna hit this, and then he's gonna hit this, and then yeah, we're gonna take the under on points, and you start racking them up, and you do your little parlays, and then one of them is
The parlays are where
100%
they
gonna
get
hit.
you because once you think it's such a lock that you got to throw it in with something else because it's already
Yeah.
OW, like that's when you get into trouble. But to your point, the second one I was thinking about throwing out for my favorite prop was Devonta Smith anytime touchdown, just because they're trying to build up this big game narrative of him. I seen an article, because of how thin he is at receiver, that he's already beaten like the biggest obstacle to his career, which is his own body. But he made it from that to scoring the game-winning touchdown with Tua in the national championship as a freshman. And then he played in three college football playoff games in college. And in the last one, the one where they won the national championship, 12 catches,
Went off.
215 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, most of that was like in the first
Playoff
half, I
Smitty.
think.
Yeah, because they were smacking.
Yeah, that I remember that game. That's
Yeah, that
playoff
was the
Smitty,
game
man.
where
Playoff
Waddle
Smitty.
was injured and he came out for like one play, caught a pass, and then limped off.
Gosh.
Man,
Yeah,
Also,
so I, I
I'm
wouldn't mind
taking
a
for sure
Devontae
that.
anytime touchdown,
that
honestly.
that's a good one though. I like
He's gonna
that.
get it.
Just
He's
so
gonna
we
get
could
it.
build it up.
Oh
Yeah, it's
man.
gonna be the Alabama narrative this year. It's gonna be Jalen Hurts redemption. Because he got benched that one time. We don't
He
want to
had
see
a
him benched.
transfer.
Yeah, he had to transfer. His feelings were broken. He's probably crying in the locker room when Nick Saban told him, "Hey, so you see this freshman right here, Tua from Hawaii?
You see
You're
this
gonna have
guy
to
from
bust him out."
Hawaii.
That guy, yeah, he's a starter.
That's my new quarterback right there.
Oh,
That's crazy. But wait,
Go
let's talk
meet the
about
guy you're
how.
backing up.
Now, you know what I wanted to say? How crazy it is that you see Jalen Hurts, and we see Jalen Hurts at that point, getting subbed out at halftime. He played all year and he played amazing that entire year. And to get subbed out for a freshman quarterback, and you're down, the freshman quarterback ends up, bringing the championship, ends up taking your job, you end up having to transfer. And then years later, in the position where you're at, when no one really thought you were really going to do much. You were drafted like mid round. Quarterbacks are drafted first, second round if you have the potential. After that, it's you have some potential, but we don't see you as you could be a starter, but maybe not. But to go from there to where he is now, one game away from winning a chip, that's pretty big, man. It's a testament to himself.
heck of a journey for Jalen. I mean, because just like we said, I I don't know, man. I would feel some type of way towards Tua, just be like, bro, I got benched for a freshman. Like, that's where it was like people. I'm like, let that sink in. A freshman, a lefty
Yeah,
quarterback, took my job,
But
and
yeah,
it's not even that for me. For me, that would piss me off is that they decided to bench me in the national championship game.
yo, yeah,
oh,
yeah. That's
Like
kind
that's the
of
thing. Then that's when I would have been like, all right, bro. Like you could have, all right, whatever. I got benched, but you had to wait till the national. We couldn't have done this week 6.
man,
yeah, that's kind of it shows you,
It's
Nick
tough,
Saban,
man.
man. Nick Saban will pull the trigger, man. There's something going on in his brain. He's like, nah, he made the right decision because I don't think that they were going to come back from that game. But props to Nick Saban and props to Jalen Hurts, man, sticking
Yeah.
to it. And I'm gonna give props to Tua because he's still quarterback of my team.
Yeah.
Battling through concussions right now.
well, he's cleared now, so at least that part is good. So the Nets bet I will give you guys rushing yards. This one I'm taking the over no matter what. Jerick McKinnon 20 and a half yards. To me,
You think so? Oof.
Mm,
I feel like it could hit just for the simple fact Jerick McKinnon is in so many packages for the Chiefs on their offense. Obviously, like as most mainly receiving, but I feel like they might try to, play chess instead of checkers with the Eagles. So they're like, all right, we'll just have like a couple of running plays for McKinnon, and I think he'll have like that 116-yard rush, and it's like, okay, that's where he'll get like most of it. So I'm like, cool, he only needs to get 5 rushing yards for the rest of the game. Because to me, this bet, I hate to say this, Miles, it feels like that one of like, was it JPP where it's like 2 sacks or just a
Yeah,
sack in that
1.5
score?
sacks.
One
Yeah.
and a half sacks. To me, this is that exact same bet where I was like, okay, I feel like this can get it.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it was like receiving yards and it was like over 20 for McKinnon, oh yeah, that's like over without a doubt. But it's rushing. So I was like, you know what? I feel like he could get one big rush. So I'm taking the over.
My
so
my only concern is if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be active. Because I get you about maybe trying to play the chess with checkers, but maybe it's with the guy that hasn't been on the field for the last couple of weeks. But I do like it because he is in a lot of packages. I my only concern would be is that Pacheco has been so hot lately and been running so well that they're
Yeah.
like the only person running the ball this game is Isaiah Pacheco.
mhm. I think the same thing. Wait, what about Hilaire? Is he gonna come back?
I
I
mean,
didn't
he's
hear that.
active.
They
So
said he
He's
was
active.
activated off the IR. I don't know if he'll be active at game time. And
Might
I
be
also don't know
might
if
be
they want to
Sunday.
play him because the last
They're
we
gonna
saw of
ride the
him
hot
was not
hand,
very good.
man. I would ride Pacheco, bro. He's
That's what
he's the
I'm
guy
saying.
right now. He's the guy, and you know what? I think I'm gonna take the under for the 20 yards, and here's why. Because I feel like, it's gonna be such a high scoring game that, the rushing yards are gonna go, or the rushing attempts are gonna go to Pacheco. McKinnon has been known, obviously, all year. He's been the passing back, and he's gonna find success doing that. But I think they're gonna rely a lot on Mahomes to throw the ball. So the rushing attempts might be a little limited because I know that the Eagles are gonna run up the scoreboard for sure. So I just feel like 20 yards, yeah, he might get like maybe 4 or 5 rush attempts. Is he gonna get those yards with that Eagles D line? I don't know, man. It's tough. My gut would say take the under on that one.
No, that's the reason why I was like, hey, you know what? This is one of those bets. It's like, all right, I gotta try. Like,
It's
Yeah,
too good to be
you gotta
true. That's
have
how they get
you
you.
gotta keep throwing you gotta keep throwing the darts at the dartboard. You gotta hit one of
Yeah.
them eventually.
yeah, like one is eventually gonna hit.
Um, so the other one that I was thinking about was just maybe long shots for MVP. I haven't really sat through the line. I wanted just to read it out to you guys. About the possible long shots here. I'm logging in now to see what I have offered to me. But because I mean, is or do you think it's just clear and like clearly it's gonna go to the quarterbacks?
I I don't know. I feel like if Travis Kelsey has at least like 2 touchdowns and the Chiefs win, I feel like Travis Kelsey can make a real good running for that MVP. And then if it's for the Eagles, honestly, I could see maybe Miles Sanders like snagging that away from Jalen if he gets the touches at the right time for touchdowns.
Okay. So, because I was just thinking it might be just too much slanted towards the quarterbacks because I do feel like it's going to be an unfair narrative if that's how it ends up shaking out. But I do feel like if they do win, it'll probably be the team that had the better quarterback in the game.
I feel
That's
like
just my
the Eagles have the bigger chance of having a long shot MVP, in my opinion, because I'm pretty sure the Chiefs win, it's going to be because of Mahomes. Mahomes, the narrative right now he's injured, his ankle's injured, and if he can pull through and have a conference championship type game, I think the MVP is going to be solidified for him. Now the Eagles are more of a complete team that don't necessarily have to rely on their quarterback. They don't have to rely on Jalen Hurts. So I could see like a defensive player maybe snagging the MVP, or maybe a skill position player on the Eagles, such as maybe Smitty. He's playoff Smitty, Super Bowl Smitty. Maybe Miles Sanders pops off for like 3 touchdowns. They get close to the goal line and he pops off for 3 touchdowns. So I think if the Eagles win, we have a better chance of having a long shot MVP as opposed to the Chiefs were to win. You know.
You got like
yeah.
any of the odds for it for like maybe a defensive player?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up now. I don't know if just where I'm looking they don't have it. But I don't know if it comes out later in the week. I'm trying to pull it up right now. Hold on.
Because I mean,
I saw. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was thinking, I was like, because you have a son Reddick who I feel like will
Yeah.
have a shot if he has a good game. If not, I was thinking maybe CJ Gardner Johnson.
So what I'm looking at, this was just the first website that popped up. I got Jalen Hurts plus 135, Mahomes plus 135, Kelsey plus 1100, AJ Brown plus
Wow.
1400, Devonta Smith 2500 plus 2500, Miles Sanders plus 3000, and Hassan Reddick also plus 3000.
Damn. Somebody's making money.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
somebody's gonna put no, big money ballers are gonna put like 10,000 on on probably a skill position player, and they're gonna
Is that Isaiah Pacheco plus 5,000?
mm,
Ooh.
That could be like one of the very sneaky
Ooh, I kind
ones.
of like that because it goes Mahomes, Hurts, Kelsey, then AJ Brown, Miles Sanders, Devonta Smith, Hassan Reddick, Isaiah Pacheco.
Huh?
He's the next Kansas City Chief after Mahomes and Kelsey. I kind
Damn.
of like that.
Man, not Juju or MVS?
Juju, MVS and Juju are both plus 9,000. McKinnon is ahead of them at plus 8,000. So maybe for you. They got Kenneth
wait.
Gainwell 12,000 to 1. Clyde Edwards-Helaire plus 15,000. What about Chad Henne at plus 15,000, bro? Come on.
Chad Henne, bro.
Chad Henne to win the Super Bowl, bro. I can't believe that
Woo!
guy's still in the league.
That would
Been
be a
here.
story. Yeah, dude, former Dolphins second round pick, Chad Henne. I'll never forget it.
That guy gave me nightmares.
I mean, he did help the Chiefs win that playoff game when
Uh,
Mahomes got knocked out for against the Browns.
and listen, all I have to say is because I still have questions on if it was legitimately a high ankle sprain, but from everything we've learned from high ankle sprains, it's 4 to 6 weeks.
Mhm.
So I
But I
mean,
saw a
it
report that
is
said he's he's not 100, but he's good. He's
he's up
comfortable.
there, yeah. And I definitely think he's going to suit up. I'm just saying, with this pass rush that we think the Eagles clearly have an advantage in, scrambling out of the pocket, you tweak it a little bit, something. I'm just saying, the
Chad Henne,
the Chad Henne vibes.
Chad Henne
Okay.
better be warmed up.
It's okay to say you have the script, Miles. You
Oh, I
read it.
saw
It's
the
like
script.
Chad
Don't worry
Henne
about
comes
it.
in, wins the Super Bowl. He takes Super Bowl MVP.
I got the script. I can't
That's
speak any more
crazy.
of it until after Sunday.
Yo, Chad Henne, when he walks into the Super Bowl, the script reading, and he heard the like what?
He's like,
Me?
yeah, the trailer dropped in the Jacksonville Jaguars game, and just wait till you see the movie.
Yo, he's like, I'm ready for this one. I'm ready for this. All the Dolphins fans are gonna hate me now, for real.
Oh my God. That would be
That'd
the
be
worst.
crazy.
That'd be worse than
Yeah.
Tannehill winning one, honestly. That
Oh
would
Yeah, at that
be,
point, I'm switching teams.
yeah, yeah. They might as well just fold the team or relegate them. Like relegate them to the CFL so I don't have to hear about them.
Yeah. At that point, they deserve it. You're letting all these players go, man.
man, that reminds me just like how close Tannehill was, because I remember
That's
we
what I
did the thing and Alejandro was there for the project. I was like, man, I forgot Tannehill was like a game away from the Super Bowl.
that's why
Yep.
I brought it up because I remember having this conversation with you. Like I need the Bengals to win because Ryan Tannehill could not go to the Super Bowl this closely after being released from the Dolphins or traded from the Dolphins.
Oh man.
That would have been terrible. Shout out Joey B. Shout out Joey B.
Yeah, man. It's too bad he couldn't get it done this year, man.
Yeah.
That ending to that last game was
If
tough,
if
man.
I'm a Bengals fan or if I'm a Bengals player, I'm kind of sick. They got the ball back twice with 8 minutes to go, and they just needed a drive. They needed one
Mhm.
drive.
I
And
mean,
at least to take possession away or time away from the clock. And what was it like? It ended up being like what? Like they had like 8 seconds left, something like that.
yeah. And it was like
Come on.
the Chiefs did the right thing by just instead of kicking it all the way to the end zone, bro, just kick
Yeah.
that middle of the field. They're just gonna lateral it for
Yeah, the same
who
thing the
knows
Bills
how
didn't
long.
do in the game against them in the 11-second comeback. They kicked it out of bounds, or they could for a touchback.
Yep. Oh, man. That's the crazy thing about football. When it's just when you know there's a quarterback, it's like they're never out of it. No matter how
You
much
need
time.
to, you have to leave them zero time, bro. Zero. We've seen it too much now, especially with these new age guys that aren't
Yeah.
scared about anything. They're just gonna chuck it down there.
Man, after seeing last year that the Bills and Chiefs playoff game, bro, anything is possible.
That's a
Anything is
fact.
possible. You know,
And if you have a
back and
quarterback who
forth.
has an arm like Mahomes or Allen, you just need to get to
Yeah,
the 30. That's really all you need.
yeah, yeah, man. Because at the end of the day, too, these kickers are kicking way further than they were before. So they don't even need to get that far down the field. Once it goes, let's say you touch back or whatever, bro. 2, 3 plays, you're already in field goal range if you have the right quarterback and the right players.
Oh man. But that is a good one for MVP odds. The last one that I have that I'm interested in, the over under for passing yards of Jalen Hurts. It's
Mm.
241.5 yards right now. Personally, just because how he played the last game against the 49ers, note Brock Purdy got hurt. Obviously, after that, the Eagles knew they just had to run the ball. I'm gonna take the under. I think even if he were to air out the football, I don't think he gets more than like 220 or 225. I feel like it's gonna be a lot of short throws, and then it's just gonna be runs, and then if anything, he'll take the ball himself and just run out of bounds.
Yeah, I think the same thing, man. I don't see him hitting that. I'm sticking to the trenches, man. I'm thinking it's gonna be a rushing game, at least for the Eagles. Unless they're put in a position where they have to throw it. But even then, they're so efficient when it comes to running that I don't think they're gonna be put in that position. So I just don't see him hitting that. I think he'll hit like 210 at most, maybe something like that. Unless they're down and they really really need him, but they got to be down bad for that.
Yeah, I could see that. Honestly, my only thing is if that it would just depend on what he would be at the first half. Because if he's already at a good amount in the first half and the score's still close, that's when it will start to get a little bit sketch. But if if because if they get a lead, they're obviously going to just start running the ball. So that would be the one thing. So maybe parlay that with an
You probably
under
could.
passing yards, under for the game. I think would be a smart one, a smart combination, because you got to think if Philadelphia goes up by more than a touchdown, say they go up by 10 or even 14, they're probably just going to run the ball majority of those possessions, and then Mahomes can answer, and then they'll probably just keep running the ball to try to keep the ball away from Mahomes.
Yeah, that's probably the Eagles' game plan. I think everyone was like, bro, just make sure Mahomes is not on the field. Just run the ball like
keep that
every
guy
play you
over
possibly
there.
can.
Keep that guy over there, or get Chad Henne involved.
Yeah, the game plan is to somehow make Chad Henne throw one attempt during this game. And that's the key to victory.
A Chad Henne over half a passing attempt parlay with the Eagles to win.
Ooh. I might have to do that. If
That
that's a
would be
prop
funny.
bet, I feel like a lot of people would
I'm
have to
sure.
at least do it.
That would be funny.
Over under half a yard.
Half a yard. Yeah,
Yard.
leave it half a yard. Or just Chad Henne over under half a snap.
Snap.
Nah, I feel like if he does over under half a yard, the anticipation of, all right, is he gonna throw one, and then we're gonna be stuck there. He's gonna pass it off to run, and then he's gonna throw like 2 ducks to somebody, to Travis Kelce, and then they're gonna take him out of the game.
And then they'll give the ball back, and then Mahomes will be in for the next series.
Yeah, Mahomes will be back by then. He went into the locker room. He did his business. He got his little injection shots. All right, back in the game.
And the thing is, you can't do half a snap, because what happens if Mahomes does pulls a Dwayne Haskins after his first start, starts high fiving the crowd, and then they have to put the backup in and take the knee to end the game. And then that's your Chad Henne half a snap right there.
That's crazy, man. Nah, I would never bet. Well, I mean, not never, but I wouldn't bet him getting a yard. I'll bet him
same.
having a snap.
You're deep in some gambling holes if you're betting Chad Henne snaps played.
Yeah, if I hear anybody do that, nah.
You just might as well give him the number.
For Chad Henne.
Just give them the number that plays after they play those DraftKings commercials.
Yeah, gambling anonymous. I'm like, if I hear someone do that, listen, bro, I think you need to talk to a therapist, because
you need to talk to somebody. I'm here for you.
Yeah.
You need 5 minutes, man. I got you. Bro, man. But that's a good thing about at least prop bets. It actually does make people think, it's like, man, I know this is probably the game plan, but at least, like, you got to think something. It's like, man, this person's probably going to pop off. I mean, it's kind of like Alejandro, in fantasy, we always pick guys that have our lineup or add in the waiver wire. It's like, bro, he has to pop off in this game. Like, this is the game plan they have to use in order to win.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we'll see, bro. We'll see what happens, because I don't know, man. There's some bets that I wouldn't even take. Too many, man. Too many to even consider at this point.
Well, I'll never forget the Super Bowl with the Chiefs and the Bucks, and they had that bet, will Bitcoin be over under this number by the end of the game? Will the price of Bitcoin be over or under this number? And whatever you bet it at, they calculated what number it was trading at, and then that's what number it would be over and under for. Damn. That's when I was like, oh
that
my
was a bet.
That was a bet before the Chiefs and Bucks one, where the Weeknd performed. Honestly, I wanted to bring that up. They've had some bangers the last couple of years for halftime performers.
Yeah.
From the Chiefs Buccaneers with the Weeknd. Last year with Dre and Khaled was dope.
Yeah.
Not Khaled. With Dr. Dre,
Kendrick.
he brought out Kendrick, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent. Remember 50 Cent was hanging upside down. And then this year, Rihanna, I'm excited for Rihanna.
Hey, Rihanna got some bangers, man.
I'm excited for Rihanna. I'm excited for Rihanna. And she's definitely going to bring somebody out, too. Who? I don't know yet, but she's definitely going to bring somebody out.
Watch her just bring out ASAP, and it's like, okay, bro.
Hey, look, I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at it. Put the whole family up there, dog.
Yeah, at that point, they're not going to do an ASAP. I don't even think there's an ASAP Rihanna song. It's just ASAP. He's going to play, like, his top 2 hits.
He's just gonna be holding the baby.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna hold her hand while she goes upstage.
But hey, credit to ASAP. ASAP won.
Oh, dude, secure the bag.
ASAP,
secure
man. Yo, is she a billionaire already? Because like,
She
I
with
has
don't
the
to
know.
be.
Fenty. With the
With the
Fenty, I think she's
Fenty,
either close or she's about to be.
yeah,
And
no,
plus, she's
she's
gonna go on tour. So eventually, I think she'll. If she's not there, she's gonna surpass her while on tour.
And now she's doing the Super Bowl, bro. Like that's big time.
man, she hasn't even made a song and she's making like way more money than the whole industry combined. But she doesn't even have to make a song because her playlist runs like 2 hours deep, bro. Like they could be there. You know, it's funny. I know some people that they don't even care about the game. They're gonna
Or
watch
just do a
the
halftime
halftime
show.
performance. Yeah, they're
My
calling it the
mom's
Rihanna
like,
concert.
the main thing I care about is the commercials. I don't feel like the commercials have been so whack the last couple of years. The one I am excited about is the stupid M&M one that they keep teasing with the whole controversy about the M&Ms being too sexy, and then they said that they're not going to do characters anymore. And they're like,
What?
sorry that a pair of heels on a blue M&M offended people. So
Oh
check
my
out our
gosh.
new mascot, and it's going to drop during the Super Bowl.
I think I saw I saw something about that. Like it was like a like one of the commercials, and I was like,
Those,
I didn't put it together. They're anticipating something for the Super Bowl, which
yeah,
makes
yeah,
total sense.
yeah, yeah.
The
But
one commercial I just don't want to see or trailer, bro. I do not want to see the
Burger
next
King.
Fast and Furious one. If I
Oh,
see that, bro, I'm just gonna get mad because the movie is drive a car, family, save the world. That's it.
Yeah, those movies are getting extreme, man. And I saw the last one where they went to space, bro. I'm like,
yeah.
man, next thing you know, they're going to another galaxy, bro, because
I
they're
already
gonna
said
run
it.
out of
Like they're
ideas.
gonna save the world from a meteorite, just like Armageddon. They're gonna go back into space. They're gonna like destroy the meteor, and they just go. I have family. That's how they got to the moon. Like it's
Yeah,
coming to the
family.
point where I'm just like, okay, please stop showing me this.
Vin Diesel, how we get to the moon? Don't worry about it. We got family. My favorite character. One of my
Bro,
favorite
it's just like
characters of
that
all
thing
time.
when that post he's like, or the thing was like bringing Brittany Griner home, and then within like 48 hours, they had the deal done to bring Brittany Griner back.
Yo, nah, but she was there for a minute, bro.
Yeah, she
She was
was
there
there
for
for a
way
minute.
too long. She was there for was it a year? No, it wasn't a year, but it was more
It
than
was
half a
more
year
than
for sure.
like 2 months, more than 2 months.
Nah,
Uh, yeah, she
it
got
felt
like
like a
February to
minute.
like November, I feel
Yeah,
like.
way more.
Yeah,
She
half a
was there
year,
for a
bro.
long time. I just
Russia, bro.
remember someone like put Vin Diesel's picture and it was like caption "Bring Brittany Griner home." Then like 2 days later, I just see that and I was like, bro, this man's got all the power.
Yeah, that guy has authority in this world, man. He saved the world. Come on. Of course, Russia owes him.
They weren't gonna
He's gonna
mess with
stop a meteorite in the next movie.
Uh, well then I think we could get into matchups. Miles, why don't you lead this one off?
Yeah, so before we get into who exactly we think is gonna win the game, let's talk about what some of the most interesting talking points in what you want to hear if either team wins the game. So starting off with the Chiefs, I think obviously the main two takeaway is if they were to win the game would be, do we have a potential dynasty on our hands? Second Super Bowl for Mahomes since he's become the starter. He's obviously, I mean, the offense didn't lose a beat even after trading Tyreek Hill, which I do think will be a talking point, just how he was able to do that after losing such a dynamic weapon in Tyreek Hill and really only replacing him with MVS and the little bit that you've gotten from Kadarius Toney, which was a mid-season trade, and then so if this is an actual dynasty that we're seeing, like, I mean, could they even get better than what we've seen so far? Because you look at the team this year, they have 24 new additions. They've hit on a lot of these rookie draft picks, especially on the defensive side. We saw the combination of the corner and the safety. One was a second round pick, one was a seventh round pick that got the interception off Burrow in the AFC Championship. We've already talked about Isaiah Pacheco. I might place a little Isaiah Pacheco Super Bowl MVP. So that's what I think we'll have to talk about if the Chiefs win. So which one out of those topics, what do you think will be the most interesting one to talk about on Monday if they are able to secure the win on Sunday?
I think that just Mahomes' greatness is going to be the topic because, yeah, I mean, I think you can put all three of us out there and he's still going to find a way to get it to us. if he can secure a Super Bowl against this team, a team that's, I consider the Eagles the best team in the NFL right now. So efficient. So like if you can pull out a win against a team like that with, dealing with all the adversity, the high ankle sprain, not only that, but the injuries to all your other receivers, even though most of them are going to play, they're still banged up. Kelsey was banged up a couple weeks ago. And to rely on a defense that you're right has starting multiple rookies and a seventh round rookie, I think that's going to be, the biggest storyline. Just Mahomes being able to lift everything, and sometimes I feel like maybe the team is good, but maybe it's not as good as we may think. Let's say we sub in a Chad Henne. So Mahomes just makes everybody around him better. I think they're gonna be talking about him for days if he wins.
Uh, Chad Hennigan and mad love on this podcast today.
Man. I see the point with the Chiefs win. I think the storyline obviously will be like Mahomes, but I also think if I had to think bigger picture of it, I think it will be that he lost Tyreek Hill, arguably the best weapon in all of football, because you could put him in the slot, you could put him outside, you could put him in the backfield. We saw this year with the Dolphins, he was basically everywhere, and he was essentially what 60% of the offense for the Dolphins, where it's like, man, to lose a guy like that, you're left essentially with Travis Kelce because the wide receivers were in and out the whole year. You didn't know who was going to be your true number one. I don't even think he still has a true number one. So I think that will be the big storyline. If the Chiefs win, it's like he was able to do all of this without Tyreek Hill. But to me, if the Chiefs win, I think the bigger storyline will be the Eagles saying it's like, are they somewhat of a fraud team? Because I've said it the whole year. I feel like they haven't truly played anybody good that's not named Dallas. Because if you look at their schedule, they had the third, I think they were like top 5 in easiest schedules coming into the year. So it's like, all right, you have an easy schedule. You should get a lot of wins. And a lot of the wins were essentially cakewalks. I don't remember one game this year where they were just like, this game is going to be a bloodbath from start to finish if it was not Dallas. That's just how I feel with the Eagles.
Hey,
Yeah, but we usually
that
never talk
conference,
about the losers. We usually never talk about the losers. We
yeah,
usually focus on the winners.
I
yeah,
mean,
the losers don't get any love.
that would be like to me the bigger like storyline. It's like, did the Eagles benefits off of such an easy schedule that they just got there? That will
But
be
I mean, I
something,
get
but
that. I get that. I mean, they did beat the Giants. They beat the hell out of the Giants. And you have to mention that they were in the division that had the third highest winning percentage.
yeah, no,
Since,
that's the part that's like,
This
all
is
right, the
facts.
Giants won a lot of games,
and
Cowboys won a lot of
you
games.
can't lie. They do have a stacked roster.
Oh
So
no,
regardless of who they play, you have to say that they are talented. It's not like they just fluked their way here. It
oh
might have
yeah,
been a
no, that
fluke in
part
the
I got. I
schedule.
just meant like, look at their schedule: the Texans, the Bears, the Cardinals. Like,
Yeah,
I
but
could,
there's also the Giants twice, the Cowboys twice, the Commanders twice. All those teams were over 500,
that's the thing. They were in
and
such a
two of
good
those teams
division
made the
this year.
playoffs.
That's the point. I was like, because I just wouldn't know, but that would be to me the bigger thing. I think that would be the bigger storyline, but I know the one that would be talked about is it's going to be
Mahomes.
Mahomes, and
Yeah,
then the question will just be, it's like when they compare him now, the only quarterbacks they compare him to are the ones that are retired, the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. I mean, they might still compare him to Aaron Rodgers, but I don't know anymore if he
I
wins the
mean,
Super
if he
Bowl
wins
because it's
this
like,
one,
Aaron,
yeah,
you have one, Mahomes has got two,
you
so
already got two. Yeah,
yeah. So I feel like they'll just compare him to other quarterbacks, and then until Burrow, Allen, Herbert, one of these other young quarterbacks wins the Super Bowl, I don't think any quarterback will be in that conversation in like comparison to Patrick Mahomes until one of them wins one, or at least like gets close in like MVPs. Unless like one quarterback just goes on like a stretch of like in 5 years wins 3 MVPs, then I think they will get in that comparison with Mahomes. But if he wins, they're just not going to compare him to anyone.
yeah,
He's in
I
a
agree.
league of his own.
Yeah, I agree. He is, and it is unfair to him because we're in such a nature like where we need to analyze everything as soon as it happens. Like we were trying to hype up the Bills this year, especially after Tyreek Hill got traded, it was like, all right, now it's the Bills' turn to do the AFC. They signed Von Miller. They have all these weapons. They've been knocking on the doorstep the last couple of years. And then after last year, Joey B going into Kansas City, beating him, a lot of people wanted to see him have another shot with, not as poor of an offensive line, but still a pretty banged up offensive line, and see if maybe he could dethrone Mahomes. But it really is unfair to him because, I mean, I think the way he plays the position, I think, is the best we've ever seen it play, just from a talent perspective and all of that. And I get Brady's the greatest of all time because he has the championships, but I've never seen anybody play like Patrick Mahomes. The way he can throw the ball, the different arm slots, the arm accuracy, and he's not like a big risk taker. Like he did have what was it, the year that they went to the Super Bowl with the Bucks, and his interceptions did increase, but a lot of it was bouncing off his receivers' hands or just unlucky breaks. So I
Bro, that
do
throw when he was parallel to the ground and he
exactly
hit that guy's helmet, I was like, bro, like hot take, that's the best pass I've ever seen in my life.
on a fourth down in the
On a
Super Bowl.
fourth down, and he got it like right there. I mean, even the play before when he was spun around and he just threw it, and Byron Pringle somehow was able to get a hand on that. I was like, bro, how do you make those throws?
Yeah.
Like, legit, how?
Yeah.
It's that
But
ability to extend the play, man. That's what sets him up. That's what sets him apart from everybody else. Is that he just finds a way to find someone to extend the play and live to see another down. And I don't think Brady. I think Brady was more efficient in the sense that he had an efficient offense most of his time in the Patriots, so he didn't have to do all that. But Mahomes, sometimes he's put in maybe he also gets himself in that position, but as long as you can extend the play, by all means go ahead and do what you want to do, man.
yeah, I mean, even his winning percentage, they showed once he's down by like 10 points, I think his winning percentage is like 54, 55%, and the next closest person is Brady at 30%. Like, that's just insane. Like, obviously, you don't want to be losing to Patrick Mahomes, but with that stuff, you also don't want to be beating him either. It's like, bro, what do I do? So,
You can't do anything.
can't do anything. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Oh, man. But that part is good. But what about storylines if the Eagles win? What storylines do you think will rule?
So I do think we'll get the full redemption story of Jalen Hurts because of everything we noted with him happening in college with being replaced in the national championship. And I do think that there will be a conversation about him being a winner. He goes in to Alabama. They go to the national championship game. He's the starting quarterback for majority of that game, and then he's replaced. He goes to Oklahoma. I believe he won the Heisman or was at least nominated for the Heisman.
He was
I think
nominated.
I think he was.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
I think he
then so
was.
he does that second round pick. Last year, they give him the opportunity to start. He goes to the playoffs. Then this year, they have the best record in football after they decide to build around him. So I definitely do think that that will be that will definitely be a talking point is about the greatness of Jalen Hurts and just his winning ability. And then I really do think a lot will go to Howie Roseman, the GM of the Philadelphia Eagles, because they have, I think, the best unit in this entire football game, which is their offensive line. I was reading something earlier today that the Eagles, according to PFF, their lowest graded offensive lineman is ninth in his position in rankings, and
Wow,
it's their right guard. So they have talent
That's
all over that
nuts.
offensive line. They drafted Hurts in the second round. They traded for AJ Brown. They traded for CJ Gardner Johnson. They signed Hassan Reddick, which kind of went under the table. Wasn't like, I don't think anybody was considering him, one of the guys when we're talking about
3 years, 45 million
yeah, and I
bargain.
don't think anybody was talking about him as like one of the prominent pass rushers. Like he wasn't up there with the Bosa's or even, the Khalil Mack trade. I thought got a lot more coverage going into this year because, he was going to the Chargers, a team people thought could possibly contend for the Super Bowl. So I do think Howie Roseman, the fact that he built not only this team, that if they did win, he would have built, and then he built the team that was able to sustain the injury to Carson Wentz and still go on to win the Super Bowl that year as well.
yeah, no, yeah, he definitely needs a lot of credit because he did build a really good team, man. he's been, how long has he been in that position for the Eagles?
Once
I
like Chip Kelly left, so like 2015, I believe, 2015, 2014. But I'm gonna be right back real quick. Someone's knocking on the front door of the house. So you guys just keep going. I'll be right back.
all right.
I was gonna say they gotta, if he pulls up a championship with this team that he built, they gotta put his statue next to Rocky's.
So they say he's been general manager since 2010. 2010 to 2014 general manager, 15 to 18 executive vice president of football operations, and then 19 to present, executive vice president and general manager.
Yeah, so he's pulling the
And he's
strings.
been with the Eagles. He started as a front office intern in 2000. So he's been with them all the way since,
Wow.
and no other organization. So I mean, wow, he went to the University of Florida. Interesting fact. I did not know that. So that I do think that will be a talking point there. And then also like I guess we have to like start crediting Sirianni at some point
Yeah.
because I mean, everybody made fun of him off that introductory press conference, which I think even he would make fun of him because he did sound a little bit crazy or just like he got a little bit of stage fright and he didn't know exactly what he was going to say next. So he kind of got caught up in the air. But I don't feel like we've talked about him at all throughout this season. Like we've obviously said that their offense is really good. He's, an offensive minded coach, but I don't think he's been up there with the top guys as far as coaching. I mean, McVay got all the love, and I get that his team was really injured, but they were nowhere near the playoffs this year. And even like Brandon Staley, we talked about him a bunch, and the Chargers blew an epic playoff lead.
Embarrassing. I think that, yeah, I feel like even Mike McDaniels got more hype than Sirianni did. But Sirianni, hey, this is his second year. First year, he still made the playoffs,
That's the crazy
That's
part.
still an accomplishment, So
Yeah.
he still did pretty good. And then now, to lose only a few games and be one game away from winning the Super Bowl in your second year, I think that's pretty impressive, man. It's
It's
pretty
also a
impressive.
lot.
It does. Oh, for sure. It was a great hire too. Hey, Howard Roseman.
Yeah, there we go again.
I mean, just to name all the moves that he did from once Chip Kelly left, that's honestly the probably I think most incredible. And then Miles, we talked about the other day. Once they won that 2018 one, we list all the moves they went and replaced again. So
Yeah.
like, man, that that would be crazy. I feel like if the Eagles win, don't get me wrong, I feel like Howie Roseman will get a bunch of credit, but at the end of the day, bro, I just think Jalen Hurts will get all the love because just how we mentioned, starter at Alabama, went to the national title game, then goes back the next year, gets benched. And then the following year, he basically has to sit behind Tua, where it was like cool. And then his senior year, goes to Oklahoma, was nominated for a Heisman, didn't win it.
Yeah.
Then goes in the second round of Philly. He's not the guy. Carson Wentz is the guy. Eventually becomes the guy. First year as a starter, made the playoffs, didn't perform well against the Bucks, and now to actually get all the way to the Super Bowl because coming out of college, or well, just going even into Oklahoma, everyone's like, they go, this guy doesn't pass the ball. All he does is run the ball, and that's it. He can't throw. And now the narrative is kind of gone because he does throw the ball. Before his
Yep.
shoulder injury, he was doing a good job throwing the ball. So I feel like all of that will go to him. If not, it will probably be like maybe just how this team was so greatly built and how well they work together. I think that might be the top storyline. But if I had to put my money on it, it's got to be Jalen Hurts, like the development and the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's been a crazy story. And I mean, how many times do we see it where it's not the guy that was drafted in the first round leading their team to the Super Bowl? Because I can't think of too many off the top of my head. Because even when you look at like Stafford last year, he was traded for another number one overall pick that had led his team to the Super Bowl twice before.
Yeah. I mean, the only one you could think of is like
Brady,
Brady.
obviously, yeah, yeah.
I mean, because Mahomes' first round pick, Garoppolo was a
Manning.
second round pick,
Oh, well, you got Russell Wilson too, third round pick.
third round pick. Dang.
Nick Foles.
Oh, Nick Foles. That's right.
Nick
Forgot
Foles, yeah.
about-
Replacing the second overall pick too, and Carson
Yeah.
Wentz. So it is crazy, and it just gives us, it just shows you that there's different ways to build a team because you have the Chiefs on one hand where they have Patrick Mahomes, who unequivocally we all know how talented he is, and they had a really talented receiver. They decided to ship him off, and then on the opposite side, Philly has a quarterback that they really believe in, and they took advantage of a team like Tennessee needing to save some money. And next thing you know, they have a receiving room with AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, a guy they drafted. So, and I just think I can't wait for the game. I mean, we can go around the room if you guys want. What do you think is the best position group? Because I think it's the Eagles' offensive line. I don't know if anybody else has for either team. You can a nomination, but I just think it's kind of overwhelming that it might be Philly's offensive line.
I mean, I'm a trench guy, man. So I think whoever can win the trenches is going to win the game, and I do believe that the Eagles have the best offensive line. A lot of experience there, and it's the bread and butter of the team. That's what's been winning the games. That's how they stay efficient in the games. Their offensive line is so efficient, man. Like watching a team like the Eagles compare to a team like the Dolphins per se. Not
Big
to,
difference.
say something bad about my team, but you can definitely tell where, like in terms of scheme and in terms of personnel and how they just play together and everyone knows their role. I think that is the best position. And it's, in my opinion, the most important position to have, to have. So that's definitely the best for me.
I understand the argument for the Eagles' offensive line. Don't get me wrong. Great offensive line. But we do have to remember the Chiefs' offensive line, they're really good too. Number one in like pass rush win rate. Like they are great against the pass rush. So I'm not gonna pick both offensive lines. I'm actually gonna go to a skills group. I actually think the Eagles secondary is the best group in this because I love the whole group in general. You have CJ Gardner Johnson, you have Darius Slay, James Bradbury. The rest of their secondary has been really solid throughout the whole year. So I was like, in terms of like where they were coming off of last year, and then to add CJ Gardner Johnson just in the slot, I feel like that is a big, big advantage for them because I don't know who's that guy on the outside for the Chiefs. You figured it'd be Kadarius Toney, but he's injured. You figured it'd be Juju, but Juju got hurt the last game. It's definitely not MVS. So Sky Moore, a lot of people expected big things from him. I didn't see anything. So it's like, I don't know
It's Kelsey or bust.
Yeah, it's Kelsey or bust. So I think that secondary, I feel like if they can get their hands on those wide receivers and just blanket them, it's check down city for Patrick Mahomes. And who knows, that might even be the game plan for Kansas City. Have a vintage Alex Smith game, all screens right at the line of scrimmage, and let the guys run.
Yeah.
No, I think that you make a good point, but remember who's throwing them the ball, man. It's Mahomes. You can have a great defensive scheme, but those extra 2-3 seconds where he rolls
It
out or he
changes
finds a way
everything.
to escape, bro. You can't be the best cornerback in the league, but that's the difference, man. These are NFL athletes. These guys run for whatever's, they're fast. They're fast guys. They escape from you in half a second, and I think, you have a point. They do have an amazing secondary, and they definitely have the pieces to possibly shut down the Kansas City wide receivers. But at the end of the day, the guy throwing to the Kansas City wide receivers is
He's
a
different.
whole another animal.
Yeah, he's different.
Well, wait, didn't you go to the game last year, Alejandro? Because I know you have season tickets.
Against who?
Oh wait, no, or was it the
Yeah,
year
we didn't play them.
before?
The Chiefs.
Yeah, when the Chiefs came to
That
Miami.
was the year before.
Oh
That we
yes.
almost kind of won. Almost. It was a close
Oh,
game.
Well, that was when we weren't very good, but Xavier made
Yeah.
the play in the end zone.
Yeah.
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 dang, because I was
Second
actually
We were
waiting
like,
for
yo,
this.
we're hanging with the Chiefs.
Yeah, we're hanging with them.
I just was because I was like, dang, I was like, I know you have season tickets. I was like, wait, was it the year before or was it last
No,
year?
no. unfortunately. And we play them, I believe, next year, but we play them in Kansas City, which kind of sucks.
Well, you went to the 49ers game this year.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great game, even though we kind of lost. You know?
Dude,
It
that
was a
first
great
play
trip.
though, bro, they'll never take
That
that away from
first
us.
play, man.
Man,
After
they'll
that first
never take it
play,
away from us.
I look at everyone like, y'all thought y'all
Real
were gonna
quiet
win
in
this
here.
game. Yeah, it's real quiet. Yeah, you guys that were talking right there, not a peep, didn't even turn
Real
around.
quiet
And
in
then
here.
little by little, you know, when Garoppolo went out, that was the first game Garoppolo went out. That
Yeah.
was the first Purdy game. So
Yeah.
I
You
was
were just
thinking, I
like,
told Rick
man, we
Silver,
got this. It's in the bag. It's
Purdy,
easy.
who's Purdy? I was getting clowned on because they were saying you got beat by a third stringer. You got man. Ended up being a good third stringer, man.
Yeah, but at least we got that. At least he wasn't a bum.
Yeah, he wasn't a bum and he beat us. But hey, that was a close game too. If it wasn't for that Gesicki, I think it was I couldn't even tell. I think it was
Yeah,
a
was
Fourth
drop,
it
down?
like a fourth
Yeah.
and
fourth
two?
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was close. We were right
Yeah.
there, and then it ended up being more of a blowout because then Tua threw the pick and all that.
Yeah.
And yeah, Tua had
It
a
was
rough
just a
one
bad
that day.
stretch for him. It was a bad stretch for Tua.
Yeah, yeah. Those last few games for Tua were tough.
Uh,
Even the Chargers game, man. The Chargers
yeah.
game, I was like, man, there's no way we're not blowing this team out right now. But after that, Jalen Phillips, roughing the
Oh,
passer.
roughing the passer. That's when it was over.
Oh my goodness, I knew it. Yeah, I was like, there's no way. There's no way
I
they
knew
want to
not
throw
to
it.
text you at that moment. I was like, nah, I'm good. I'll
Man,
talk to him tomorrow.
man, that's Jalen Phillips that's a U guy, man. So that's my guy, man. I that's one of my favorite players for the Dolphins, and to take a play like that away from him, man, that's a big play, bro. That's a game changing sack, and make it roughing the passer. They want him to put a little blanket and pillow on under
Lay
Herbert.
him down.
At least now
Yeah,
they'll
man.
discuss that rule in the offseason. It's like, all right, what is officially roughing the passer? So that
Yeah,
way, at least a defense can
Yeah,
know.
but see, it's the thing is, it's the NFL, and I don't expect them to get it right.
yeah.
That's the problem. It's
I
the
mean, it's going to take them
institution
like
that we're
what,
talking
4 years to get it right?
I mean, I still don't know what a catch is ever since Des Bryant, and I can't even tell you how long ago that was. Like, I
No, that
still
wasn't a
don't know.
catch. It just wasn't a catch.
I still don't know what a catch is. I still don't know what roughing the passer is. And now they're talking about doing that like drop hip rule, the rule that got or the tackle that got Mahomes injured. They're trying to
Oh
outlaw
yeah,
that.
like if
Oh,
you can, but that's just a freak
that's
accident.
just how
It's
they
like
got to tackle, bro. Like this guy wants to stay up. I want to bring him down. I gotta drop my weight
nothing
somewhere.
you can do at that
Yeah.
point. So
Uh,
Yeah, it's been messed up since years ago when William Hayes tried to brace himself for the when he sacked the quarterback. I forgot against what team, but then I think tore his ACL or
oh,
his,
I
his
remember
Achilles
that.
something. You remember that?
Yeah, I
And he
do
had
remember.
like it was trying to brace himself for the impact so that he wouldn't get called rough in the passer. And then like it's just
And
the
to hurt
money makers
himself.
is the
Yeah.
quarterbacks, man. He ends up you didn't hear from him again. He was actually pretty good in my opinion. He was low key kind of
Yeah, he was nice.
defensive end. But this is a quarterback league, man. They're the ones that get paid the most. They're the ones that bring in the most revenue. If a quarterback's not in the game, then we don't want to watch the game.
yeah,
So they're gonna do the best they can to protect their best player, the commodity.
bro, just ask Brady. You touch Brady or say hi, it's an automatic flag. Where it was like, okay, I can't even say hi to Tom Brady without even getting flagged. But I mean, it is what it is at that point. But
Yeah.
now I think we kind of come to like a good part where we can now like, give our predictions, winner, score, MVP. Alejandro, go ahead, give us your three.
So this is tough. I was thinking about this before hopping on the podcast, but I'm gonna say Eagles win 35-28. I
Good
think
score.
that I think that it's gonna come down to the last drive for the Chiefs, and the Eagles defense is gonna stop them. They're gonna try to tie the game. They're gonna stop them, and the MVP is gonna go to Jalen Hurts. Why not? Because that's where the storyline is. That's the guy that's gonna get paid the big bucks this summer. So it's gonna go to him. I think.
Okay. I like it. I like it. I like it. I'm going I just think Mahomes is gonna pull it out somehow. So I'm gonna go Chiefs 35, Eagles 34.
Dang,
Just like that.
1 point.
Close.
Yep. So if you're an Eagles backer, I'm sorry to do that to you, but it's just the guy on the other side. Like if you guys were playing anybody else, I would honestly go Eagles. And I think you have the more talented overall roster, but I think it's still going to be a close game. And if I'm on this podcast telling everybody how great I think this quarterback is, and I think the game's going to be close, I have to go with the guy that I think is just better.
So are we saying Harrison Butker, field goal for the win? Is
Yeah,
that what we're saying?
yeah,
Okay.
walk off.
Walk-off
Mm.
field goal, dang. Man, this hurts because I've been on the Chiefs bandwagon for so long. Man, I've been on that bandwagon, and I really hate. I want the Chiefs to win. I really do. Like I want the Chiefs to win. I want Patrick Mahomes to get a second ring because I'm. It's mainly because I'm sick and tired of that Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes debate. No, to me, it's never been the
No,
same
that's not a debate.
because Josh Allen, I will say we've all watched him enough. Yes, he's good, but he's not Patrick. There
No,
is
it's
a
not a
difference.
debate.
So I want the Chiefs to win, but I feel like at the end of the day, I think the Eagles are going to win this game, and I'm going to say 31-24. And MVP, I feel like it's going to be Hassan Reddick that wins it. I feel like he's going to get that sack that keeps the Chiefs from driving the ball to maybe going and tying up the score. So I feel like that will happen. I mean, trust me, if the Chiefs win this game, I'm going to be so happy that I was wrong. I'll be like, yes. But I just feel like with the way the Eagles roster is, if you just look at it, I think if we look at if we decide to choose the top 20 players in this, I generally do believe each of us will have at least 15 Eagles players, and the other five will be Chiefs players.
That's a great way to never lose. It's a win-win. Yeah, oh, yeah, I don't think they're gonna win, but if they win, all right.
No,
Why not?
well, bro, I want the Chiefs to win, but I just like my heart's telling me, bro, that
Your
the
gut
Eagles are just
feelings.
gonna win. The Eagles are gonna
Yeah.
win. It just feels
Miles by
inevitable.
himself.
I like the Chiefs though. I like the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs. I think they got a shot. I think they definitely have a shot, but we'll see on Sunday. And as always, thank you guys as always for listening. Alejandro, thank you for joining us today. So Football Friday, it's going to be pretty much our last Football Friday now because we
Yeah.
got the Super Bowl on Sunday, and then we'll be back to recap it on Monday, and then might take a little bit of break before we hop into some NBA action. We'll see. We'll definitely keep you guys scheduled. We appreciate you guys as always for listening. Until next time.